It's trial.
Well, it hasn't rained. Hi, Babette. Nice to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you too, Catherine.
So this is where grant meeting.
I wish I was there in Hawaii where it's warmer than Colorado.
Oh.
I bet you do.
Here. Oh, this is way Baji, yeah, Baji is a
Yeah. It's like. Yeah. It's like you have to do it all.
It's there on
Ready? Yeah.
Where you are, Ross?
Jason, can you go put your bag there? Yeah.
You can't hide behind your badges.
All right. No, maybe we'll wait. I don't.
It's okay, Jason.
You good?
Yeah.
All right, the Kaʻū Action Committee went out for the order. It is Tuesday, January 25th, 2025. The time is now 5:13 p.m. This meeting is held in person and by interactive conference technology. The meeting will be recorded on Zoom and uploaded to the Planning Department's YouTube channel. As a reminder for Sunshine Law, AC members appearing remotely must keep their cameras on and announce anyone who's with them except for minors in their location. We will now do a roll call. Vice Chair Pernell Hanoa.
Here.
Committee Member Babette Morrow.
Here.
Committee Member Kohinani Muhubaliki.
Here.
Committee Member Kaveni Ibarra.
Here.
Committee Member Catherine Williams.
Here.
And I am Chair Jason Masters. We have a quorum to hold this meeting. Absences are MC Jesse K. From planning staff, we have from the planning department, Marion Palma and Cabello Khalili. Housekeeping, please make sure your cell phones are turned off or on silent mode. If there's anyone here who wishes to testify, please fill out the sign up form near the front door and give it to the planning staff. Zoom testifiers can also send a message in the chat to the Zoom host indicating which item they wish to testify on. We ask that everyone please state your name before speaking. To all of those attending here in person, please remember to speak towards the owl, camera and microphone so everyone on Zoom can hear. A general reminder, in order to keep in compliance with Sunshine Law, all testimony and discussion must be addressing the specific agenda item the committee is deliberating. If anyone has anything else to discuss that is not on today's agenda, then it can be brought up at agenda item 5, which is the agenda for the next meeting. Testimony for agenda item number 5 can be taken at the beginning of the meeting or later in the meeting when agenda item number 5 is called. The time is now 5:15 p.m. We will introduce the meeting minutes to be approved. So the committee will now consider approving the draft minutes from the December 11th, 2025 meeting. May I ask for a motion to approve those minutes as circulated? I believe there may be some
There's
corrections.
some correction.
Well, I will move to approve the minutes with the corrections that I believe Henry Goldie will be providing.
I only see one. Somebody else might see something else on line 33. Wade Baji. It's BAJI. Let's see for the moment. I saw something else.
So are there any further corrections with anybody? Would you want to identify? Sure.
So, I'll make a motion, this is Kaʻū, Nani Mokuhali, I move to approve the minutes with corrections.
I'll second that.
Yeah. You can just do all of those in favor. Do we need? All right, all those in favor of approving the minutes as corrected, please say aye.
I,
All those opposed? All right, seeing none, the motion is approved to approve the December 11th, 2025 meeting minutes. The time is now 5:18 p.m. The committee will now call for statements from the public, as stated in the published agenda. Members of the public may provide public testimony regarding any agenda item. Now, or at the time the agenda item is called to order. If there's anyone here who would like to testify, again, please fill out the sign-up form on the front table and give it to our staff. Do we have any testifiers? Well, if anybody would like to testify at a later time, please fill out a form and we will receive it. All right, the time is now 5:18 p.m. The committee will now move on to business item number 1, election of chair and vice chair. I don't know if this is a good time. I know many of you might have heard that Julia Neal passed away recently. I know did a lot of good work for the community. I think it'll certainly be missed. So I don't know if it's appropriate if we just had a short moment of silence for her passing. So my heart and thoughts and prayers are with her and her family. I hope somebody is able to take her lead and keep the Kaʻū going, because it sounds like not the case at the moment. So, all right, so the first Item on the agenda is discussion of potential action to elect the chair and vice chair for the Kaʻū Community Development Plan Action Committee for 2025. Is there anyone who would like to provide testimony on this item? All right, do we have any nominations for chair of the action committee? And self-nominations are okay also. Don't all
Yeah, don't all jump
pick up
around.
one.
Well, I nominate Jason.
Do we second that?
For which, for the chair,
For chair.
and we had, somebody had a question,
Oh, well, no, this. Mute now.
okay, so I guess we have,
You accept the nomination.
sure, yes. Seeing as how, is anybody else? All right, so we have a motion for chair, so it has been moved by committee member, I guess Morrow, and seconded, was it second?
I second.
And seconded by committee member Catherine Williams, to approve myself, Jason Masters, as chairperson on the Kaʻū Community Development Plan Action Committee for 2025. Is there any discussion?
Nope. Thank you.
You get good at it now.
Okay. So. Do we vote individually?
No. I'll repeat this.
All right, all those in favor of the motion, I guess to nominate me as chair, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, seeing none, the motion is carried. Do I have to declare the result, I guess, is all in favor, is the result? So the motion passes with 6 votes aye and 0 votes for. So is there, may I have a motion for nomination of the vice chair?
I'll move to nominate Pernell Hanoa for vice chair.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Do you accept the nomination?
I accept.
That's the first thing, all right. Is there any discussion on this nomination? All right, seeing none, we will vote the same way. All those in favor of Pernell Hanoa being nominated for the vice chair, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, seeing none, there are 6 votes in favor and none opposed, and Mr. Pernell Hanoa will serve as our vice chair for 2025. Moving on to item number 2, the Wahoo Transfer Station, discussion and action on previously submitted letter from the Department of Environmental Management to open the transfer station for 7 days a week. Is there anyone who would like to provide testimony on this item? All right, would anyone like to make a motion on this item? We could open it for discussion.
We're just waiting for a response. Yeah, are we waiting for a response?
Yeah, I think we should say that we want to have a motion to discuss.
Okay, then I'll move to, make a motion to do for discussion of the Waiahinu transfer station. On the event.
I'll second that.
Okay. So we had submitted this, yeah, so have you seen the letter?
No, I haven't.
Who's a good reader? I'm a good reader. Okay. You can tell me the letter?
Show, you got that? I don't think that, okay, okay. That's a question.
So I assume that we're resending this because we previously sent it to the acting director and now a director's been appointed. And that's why we're resending it.
So that's part of the potential discussion, is if you want to send it to the new director, or if we want to include the new mayor. Things like that. Oh,
And governor,
oh, so as the new mayor,
yep,
and,
and acting county governor.
all right, yeah, but not the,
So now it's going to be Sigawa.
so who is the
New director.
current director of the environmental management?
And here's,
And I think this is the second,
Yep.
part of this,
and this is the cover.
and that's the cover.
That's what went to.
And do we need to read it so that the.
Wesley Segala.
Yeah, so it's going to help.
So it's the same one. Okay,
So he was acting director and now
Now he's.
they're director.
Okay.
okay, so on December 5th, 2024. The action committee wrote, "Dear Mr. Sagawa, as the Kaʻū CDP Action Committee, our responsibility to hear and evaluate the concerns from members of our community within our boundaries of the CDP goals and policies is critical to a comprehensive advisory to the Department of Environmental Management. This is important to Kaʻū residents because we are the only district that has no transfer station open 7 days a week. There has been testimony from the public with petition at 3 consecutive meetings regarding the newly renovated multi-million-dollar Waiuhinu transfer station. Attached are signatures from 267 Kaʻū residents. Items of discussion were pertaining to A, revert back to opening Waiuhinu transfer station 7 days a week to accommodate new population and visitor growth within the entire Kaʻū Vahipana, is that right?
Yep.
And alleviate dumping on our side roads and in the gulches up Malta, which create issues for the continuous flowing of waterways set up to prevent flooding. Also potential health hazards. Attached are images of trash in gulches and side of the road. B, address large puddling happening right in front of new rubbish chute, as this draws concern for injury by slipping and or falling, also unsanitary stagnant water. With these concerns falling into section 3, advance preferred conservation and settlement patterns, 3.4, land use policy. Policy 3, commercial facilities shall be developed in areas adequately served by necessary services such as water, utility, sewer, and transportation systems. Should such services not be available, the development of more intensive uses should be in concert with the localized program of public and private capital improvement to meet the expected increased needs. Section 4, protect and enhance natural and cultural resources. 4.62, land use policy. Policy intent. Policy 62, protect, preserve, and effectively manage forests, watersheds, shoreline areas, natural areas, and rare or endangered species and their habitats. Is it air habitat or their?
There.
Oh, we have a typo.
No. Well, that's what you
All right. Section 5, strengthen infrastructure, facilities, and services. 5.8, environmental management facilities. This section of the CDP prioritizes expanded wastewater systems. The new transfer station in Ocean View improvements to the recycling area in Pahala, and green waste drop-off and mulch pickup sites. Page 2, policy 121, build the solid waste transfer station in Ocean View. Policy 122, implement plans to improve the recycling area at the Pahala transfer station. Although the Waihinu transfer station is not stated in a specific policy, it surely falls under the Department of Environmental Management. To address the concerns from the community and the Kaʻū CDP Action Committee regarding the Waihinu transfer station, we urge the Department of Environmental Management to open communications for discussions and solution. Mahalo for your time, Jason Masters, Chair, Kaʻū Community Development Plan Action Committee.
So I think one of the questions is that we were, and I don't recall who we were talking to this about, is that maybe we could invite them to come out here, the department or a representative?
We can invite them, we could delegate a member to start to try and have a conversation with them, even, outside of this meeting area to see, and then kind of work with them, what kind of updates we want them to bring. Just at the same time.
Okay, maybe that sounds like a better time. So would anybody like to self-nominate, volunteer? Otherwise, yeah.
Did the letter go for anybody yet?
Yeah, it was sent on December 5th.
It went to
Environmental management.
Environmental management, the new mayor, the governor,
acting county director.
Yeah.
and
And
County
Johnson.
Council.
And Michelle. Oh, okay. I know, I talked to Michelle. Earlier this month, and she said she had a meeting with the mayor on January 6th, and she was gonna bring it up with the mayor about this letter, so I didn't talk to her since then. And I've talked to Jean Capella, and she's, I just put it in her ear. To just work for awareness. When I started, just, okay,
okay, you wanna come up here maybe?
I'm almost not.
Okay.
When I started this thing about opening the transfer station, I didn't know how big it would be, and that's a great letter. So. I applaud, whoever wrote that letter, I'm glad it's at this point. That where I think we're getting it done. That's all I have, so thanks to all
Well, thank you for bringing it up.
Yeah.
thanks for everybody.
I think it's been on the minds of many of most residents. Yeah, so thank you for yeah, maybe come to the front. Talk a little. So for the record, I'm Jerry Senior. Initiated this. Please state your name for the record.
Marion Gershon, I live in Vallejo. Then when we do get a response, that a reason, a solid reason is given. If the answer is no, that it's not, lost in verbiage somewhere, so we can understand what the obstacles are. And I know that's not in your control, other than to push back if needed. It may not be needed, but you know how it goes. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Any thoughts for that?
No,
Is he willing to be the go-between for us, or does it need to be someone on the committee?
Or it could be me, Gary. Do you wanna volunteer with me to work with more on that?
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great. He's got all the knowledge.
I guess
Ask
the,
him if he put his
yeah,
application
so we
in
did
for
send
the-
it to them when they were the acting director. So now they're
And
the,
assistant with the assistant.
No, they're seeking applications for the CDP committee. I don't know if you heard about that.
I tried to get him. I'm working on it. And a few others.
Deputy is Craig Kawaguchi.
Gucci or Uchi? Uchi or Gucci?
Kawaguchi.
I think you went to 3 days.
But was, and then,
COVID was really for everything. If I recall, though, there was a lot of discussion, and that was going on about employees and costs and in the budget relative to the, I think the same employee that you already worked with. Cover all the transportation, different days. I don't know if they had the staff supposedly. Well, I mean, that was.
Does anybody know, it says here, improve the recycling area at all the transfer station?
That was in the CDP, that's holding what's in the CDP.
Is there a recycling?
Just for cardboard and glass.
Yeah, that's why this statement
metal,
says, even though.
white wood.
Whitewood is not mentioned,
Right.
this
It's
is a
under
quote
there.
from, yeah, it's a quote from here.
They have everything about nice.
Yeah.
So what the committee can do is take a vote to delegate, it sounds like
Okay.
Jason, to go and work on this, with whoever can say, you know.
So
So talk with relevant representatives.
Yeah, is there any further discussion on this item?
No.
Any members of the public that wish to add any input? All right, well, I guess I'll make a motion then, that I, Jason Masters, will work with Gary Davis to work with the Department of Environmental Management, the director or their representative to identify what the current situation is and what the next steps are. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, can we just do all those in favor? Yeah? I like how I asked you that.
That's okay.
All right, all those in favor of the motion, of myself and Mr. Gary Davis working with environmental management, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, seeing none, the motion passes unanimously. Moving on, item number 3, collect coastline access and resources. Discussion on action on previously submitted letter regarding protecting cultural sites and natural resources in the greater Kaʻū area, particularly Mahana Bay. Is there anyone who would like to provide testimony on this item that is not already, well, nobody has. Is there anybody who would like to provide testimony on this item? All right, would anybody wish to make a motion on this item?
I move to have discussion on the Kaʻū coastline access and resources.
All right, and second that. And anyone second that? Who would like to initiate the discussion?
Babette,
Yes. Yeah,
wasn't there a letter that was sent on that?
Yeah. It says a submitted letter.
well, we have the letter in our packet that we sent to Zendo Kern August 12th, 2024. Are we, I'm having a little trouble hearing. Are we talking about the Mahana Bay?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, so you should have in your packet that was revised a couple times, the letter that we sent, and I'm assuming that what we're doing tonight is gonna change that and send it to the new director and anybody else that needs to be sent to, but do we need to read that letter?
I don't have a copy of it. You do. Do we need to read this?
Your sharing screen with everybody.
Yes, we do. All right.
You mind putting on a single user, you can read?
One bigger.
Yeah, yeah, before that one, the other letter was really good. Thank you, appreciate it.
I'm not doing the cover letter, we're just doing the.
Yeah, so this is the first part, which is just the cover letter, so just to summarize it. We originally met February 28th, and so it was on the agenda for discussion whether or not we would submit a letter. The committee voted unanimously to provide a letter. And so this is the letter that eventually was submitted.
Okay, so August 12th, 2024, Mr. Kern, the Kaʻū CDP Action Committee designate 2 members to research and draft a letter addressing recommendations and concerns regarding the Mahana Bay coastline access and resources. The members sought out to address the concerns of the Kaʻū community about protecting cultural sites and natural resources in the greater Kaʻū area, particularly regarding Mahana Bay. Increase in tourism and related activities have led to increased degradation of the area, resulting in significant damage to both the land and marine environment, including sea life. Additionally, important cultural sites, including sacred burial grounds and Native Hawaiian trail systems and other sites, have been and are in further danger of being damaged or destroyed. The Kaʻū CDP addresses these issues in response to input from a large number of members of the community during the many information gathering meetings during its formation. The final CDP acknowledges the importance of preserving this area throughout the document as follows. 1, Section 4.6, protect and enhance ecosystems, encourage the collaborative development and implementation of resource management plans and the enforcement necessary to protect ecosystems. Section 4.6.1, community objectives, lists the following objectives. Protect, restore, and enhance ecosystems, including Mauka forests and the shoreline, while assuring responsible access for residents and for visitors. Encourage community-based management plans to assure that human activity doesn't degrade the quality of Kaʻū's unique natural and cultural lands. Section 4.6.4, advocacy. 4.6.4.4, Department of Health require implementation of management measures to prevent non-point source pollution. 4.6.4.5, Department of Land and Natural Resources, following the recommendation of the South Kona Kaʻū Coastal Conservation Task Force, dedicate at least 1 state DOC care officer to the Kaʻū district to aid in enforcement. 4.6.4.6, Department of Hawaiian Homelands, DHHL, maintain the Kaʻū South Point coastal areas and related infrastructure for recreational, cultural, education, and/or scientific uses in a manner that is protective of resources and is consistent with the Hawaiian Homes Commission Act and all applicable laws related to Native Hawaiian rights and public shoreline access. A bunch of numbers. Number 2, Section 4.2, protect the coast from development. This section protects coastal areas from development with the CDP land use map, shoreline setbacks, the special management, page 2, area, and encouragement to the state to strengthen protections and the community voice in land use decisions. 4.241, advocacy. Following the recommendation of the South Kona Kaʻū Task Force, amend HR 13.5-40B to require that public hearings before the Board of Land and Natural Resources be held in the judicial district in which the land is located. The Kaʻū Action Committee has found 2 recent studies regarding management of the Kaʻū area. one in 2012 and one in 2016. The DHHL Kaʻū Regional Plan was adopted in 2012 by Hawaiian Homes Commission. This plan prioritizes 2 projects to be implemented by 2015. Number 1, develop vehicular roadways and pedestrian pathways within the coastal area of Palais to manage access to Kaulana Bay, the fishing grounds at Palais, and protect sensitive resources. Number 2, protect and preserve sites in Kamaʻoa. Phases consisted of updating the historic landmark designation, developing a circulation plan, pursuing partnerships, developing signage and educational programs, obtaining funding, and constructing roads, fencing, and educational signage. The South Point Resources Management Plan, RMP, prepared for the Hawaiian Homelands Trust, was finalized in October 2016. This plan stated this resources management plan identifies specific near and long-term management actions for lands held under the Hawaiian Homelands Trust located within the ahupua'a of Kamaʻoa, Pu'ueo, Kaʻū District, Island of Hawaii. It is intended to guide future actions to steward the land and resources of this area. Of particular interest is the concluding paragraph on page 7 of the 2016 document. The main near-term priority for DHHL is to gain site control by managing vehicular access. The Kaʻū Action Committee has listened to the concerns of the community and have agreed that action needs to be taken. This issue is very important to the people of Kaʻū, as our environment, our culture, and our history are being destroyed by lack of action by responsible agencies. We are asking that the planning department forward our concerns to DHHL, DLNR agencies, Hawaiian Homelands Trust, and other agency that would have authority to act, and ask them to formulate a plan of action with a projected completion date. Mahalo for your kokua, Jason Masters, Chair, Kaʻū Community Development Plan Action Committee. Need a drink.
So,
Yes.
so since this letter has been written, actually, tomorrow night, right here at 5:30, is a meeting with the Commissioner of the Department of Hawaiian Homeland to explain the closures that have happened at South Point. The ranchers have been told that they need to keep their gates closed. There has been much thievery, just taking gates straight off the posts and cutting wires and deformation of animals. So there is a action going on now. They are now supposed to be implementing this 2016 plan. So that information, excuse me, is supposed to all be aired tomorrow. There, at this point, the access to Ka'alualu is through Green Sands. And they eventually want to, they're supposed to close off by the boat ramp. So there's a lot that's happening right now. The new, I can't remember his last name, his name is Brian. And so tomorrow night, let's all be here to
Is this a
listen.
public meeting?
Public meeting. They're trying to get the word out here. They only had access to emails that they had with people who are on homes, but you know, they're trying to get the word out. So please let everybody know tomorrow night here, 5:30, to hear what they have in store. And, you know, for this, to follow this plan that was initiated back in 2016, so. Spread the word. So if that's any response to your letter, I don't think it got there, but there have been other forces that have been
Yeah.
working with them, so.
What time is that meeting?
5:30. Here at the clubhouse.
Excuse me,
Mhm.
is there a link you could share or it's not?
Not that I know of. I believe it's just in person. I don't know anymore.
Okay, so it's posted by Department of Life.
Yes,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
They emailed me about the Hoy Island land.
Yeah, and there's another meeting in Thursday or something.
I guess so.
I've done like 3 meetings back on. But
I'll be here.
yeah. Can you make it tomorrow?
5:30.
For now? Can you make it tomorrow?
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm trying to make it.
Yeah, just
Please
interesting to
join
see,
online,
it's
so.
Department of Homeland. To see what they're doing to help the renters, and she kind of meant to get a hold of Chris. Will you see that?
Yes.
That,
I haven't
she
seen,
still get her on the phone too.
yeah, I heard the father, Eugene,
What happened to Eugene?
no, I think he said that his animal. From.
Oh, he was like, oh my god,
No,
no,
no.
because we just lost Esther, I'm like, oh,
No,
kill her off. Oy,
then we probably Watson or.
no, Brian,
Brian Jeremiah.
there you go, that's
He's
the,
the new, Hawaiian Homes rep for East Hawaii. Yeah. Yeah, so
Yeah.
he takes care of us out here in Kaʻū. He's newly appointed. Couple
Is-
of months.
Yes, go back.
Sorry, is it possible to hand deliver a copy of our letter to the commissioner who's gonna be there tomorrow night?
I can bring a copy with me.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Great,
Yeah.
thanks.
I mean, it'd be addressed to him, but we'll just let him know that we sent this, that this was sent out. Yeah, great idea. We can do that.
Thank you.
Okay.
So let's incorporate that into our motion, and then I was gonna say maybe pending tomorrow night's meeting, we'll see what further action we wanna do on this, maybe.
Mhm. So we can put it back on the agenda.
Okay,
Or keep it on the agenda.
for the next meeting.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we.
So I'll have a motion that Nancy Cohe will hand deliver it tomorrow evening. And that we will bring this back at the next meeting to follow up. For one, to find out if anything happens tomorrow. And two, what further action is required by this committee.
I'll second that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
all right.
Very good.
Can I just clarify everything?
Yeah.
So your comment was that the response by DHS has nothing to do with the letter. It
Correct.
actually has other things and forces, so this letter would fell on deaf ears,
Well,
perhaps.
It may not
Was,
have,
I'll only ask this question, was the response to the letter?
no, this is not a response.
sometimes we generally get response.
I think it was a response to grievances that people been sharing with him
Yes.
about South Florida.
Directly.
Yeah,
I'm just curious as
Yeah.
to the impact of the letters from this committee to the county and what kind of response you get.
Yeah, so,
I don't believe the letter was,
Oh,
we don't know that it was
that it was
forwarded.
even forwarded, because this went to Zendo Kern.
Yeah, so
But
just,
I would. There's been a lot of discussion from the people down in South Point
Well,
and other people that have gone directly to him. And this is his response, he's responding back to me.
and plus he's stated.
Yeah.
He's stated.
Yes.
yeah, I know there's been a lot of police report and Uncle Dean was talking about people stealing stuff. So that explains why all the roads blocked.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
tomorrow night we'll get all our, well, hopefully more answers.
And then just for informational purposes, yeah, so we're a county body. So we might include other people, and copy them on these letters. But generally, we only have, what authority we have would be with the county. So we can.
Well, I understand, right.
So
But your letter asked them to send it on, so.
we asked.
Yeah, the advisor requested them before, so
Correct.
is they did before.
So the previous planning director is no longer the planning director, and we don't know.
Yeah,
If you
What?
did anything on it.
I'm good. Thank you.
All right, did we vote on that? No.
Got a second.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, seeing none, all those in favor, of the motion as presented?
I,
All those opposed? All right, seeing none, the motion is approved. We will now move forward to item number 4, testimony at state legislature related to sunshine law and community outreach boards. Do we have a presentation?
Yes.
Oh, so presentation by, is it Nancy Ezekiel?
Ezekiel. Can you hear me?
Yes. Ezekiel?
Yes, and
All
and
right,
also,
Huh?
I'm the vice chair of the Kona CDP Action Committee, and John is also a member of the Kona CDP Action Committee, and we're both here to talk about item number 4.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll try to be as brief as possible. I'm going to give a bit of a background to these bills, and John's going to talk about the actual impact of them if they get approved. And I don't know if you're familiar with the neighborhood board system in City and County of Honolulu, but they were put into place in 1973, and they have 33 neighborhood boards. But if you read the code that enables their authority under their chapter 21302, and if you read Hawaii County Code Chapter 16, the duties and responsibilities of CDP action committees, they're very similar in their purposes. So the neighborhood board system went on their way for years and years, and they were getting very frustrated with the regulatory restraints of the Sunshine Law. So in 2008, actually, they got the Sunshine Law amended, and a new part was added. It's part 7 called Neighborhood Board that actually loosens up the chains of the Sunshine Law and allows them to operate more freely and more interactively with each other and with the community. And so we said, well, why can't we utilize those parameters as well? But the mistake they made is the language in the revision to Chapter 92, Part 7 is so specific to Oahu's neighborhood boards that it doesn't let us fit into it. So the purpose of this legislation is to amend Part 7 of Chapter 92, Neighborhood Board, to make it more generic so that similar community outreach boards and statewide can fall within that section of the code. So Senator Drew Kaʻū introduced the bill, and also it was a companion bill was introduced by Representative Capella. In fact, the first hearing is Thursday at 3 o'clock for the bills. And it was interesting because I just found this new interesting notation of testimony that was submitted back when they were getting the bills approved. And it was testimony from the Office of Information Practices. And he said, quote, "One technical issue throughout the bill is the term neighborhood board. Given that counties all over Honolulu and outside of Honolulu and other counties may want to create localized advisory committees, the committee may want to create a more generic term. But that was never done. So the term neighborhood board is what stuck to Part 7 of the amendment to Chapter 92. So that's why we're pursuing this legislation, so that we can take advantage of what we view are benefits. And the Kona CDP Action Committee voted to support this legislation, and it was presented to the South Kohala CDP Action Committee at their last meeting, and they've also voted to support and present testimony in favor of the legislation. Do you think I gave enough background, John?
Yeah, I think that was good.
Okay, so why don't you explain to them actually what it does?
Yeah, so aloha nui kako. Thank you for having Nancy and I speak. I'm John. I'm on the Kona CDP Action Committee. So kind of the goals, the main benefits of these bills are it helps our ability to be that bridge between government and community, right? So and these are all in your I looked in your packet, and these are all listed in here too, everything that Nancy's talking about and myself. But we can do things like we can hear testimony or presentations without a quorum. I think this is a problem across our CDPs, is maintaining quorum at all of our meetings and losing quorum partway through. So even if we don't have quorum, we can hear testimony and things like that. We just can't vote on things. We could also hear public input on matters not listed on the agenda. If someone has an issue, related to our CDPs, they could come in and speak to us on it. Right now, we have to keep things, related to the agenda. This would allow us to talk off agenda about things as long as we don't make any decisions based on that. Yeah. And another thing is we could host, or we could join other meetings. So this is something that came up during the Kona Open Space Network. We had a presentation on that. And the only way that more than 2 of us could attend that meeting is they had to actually agendize that as a Kona CDP meeting for us to attend. If these revisions get passed, then we can attend these meetings, just on our own without having to do that kind of thing. So you could hear presentations from the community.
More than 2 of us at a time.
More than 2 of us at a time, yeah. Yeah, and so those are the main benefits of it. And the Senate version of this bill is actually going to come up to hearing on Friday. Oh no, yeah, Friday, yeah.
Thursday.
Nancy. Oh, Thursday. It's got to come up on Thursday, so it's open for receiving testimony. I think it's up to 24 hours before the meeting.
Yeah, I think the deadline for this particular joint hearing is tomorrow at 3 p.m. But there are 3 other committees that have to schedule it, plus then it'll go to the full House and Senate eventually, as long as it gets heard by the 3 other committees.
Yeah, so that's basically all I had. I don't know if you had anything else to add to that, Nancy.
No, I think that's in a nutshell, that's a review of the bills, and we'd like you to support the bills and be willing to submit testimony so we can move them ahead. Because as far as I'm concerned, I think it would be nice to be more flexible instead of being as restrictive as I used to be in the Hawaii County Council many years ago, and the CDP action committees have to operate, under the regulatory rules required by the county council. They pass bills and approve budgets, but we're strictly advisory. And as far as I'm concerned, we're supposed to be more, of a venue for interaction between local government and the community. We're not a regulatory decision-making body. And therefore, I think these Section 7 that the Sunshine, the neighborhood boards were able to amend the Chapter 92 provides more flexibility for community interaction.
But that hasn't panned out.
You have a question about that?
Yeah, thank you very much, both of you, for coming to our meeting. It's always good to talk to people from other action committees because we never get a chance to find out what other people are doing. I did talk to, I can't remember his name, from the North Kohala Action Committee about what they did because they were so constrained about the sunshine laws to actually break away and be able to function more on their own. But I know we've struggled with this our whole time. We were originally we formed subcommittees to take on certain things, and then we were told we couldn't call them subcommittees, and then they were investigatory committees, and then they were pigs, and then they were this has been driving us all crazy about everything we can and can't do. And I feel like we've just been so constrained, and I'm wondering if your action committee is, if these changes to the law is something that you guys are obviously supporting, but as far as the way your action committee has been functioning, have you had those same constraints, or have you found other ways to deal with that?
Well, I think a number of years ago, the Corp Council's position was to kind of not pay too much attention to how action committees were operating, but then they, started pointing out that we were violating the Sunshine Law, and it got, at least for our committee, it started getting very restrictive about a year and a half ago, where, somebody come in and ask a question, they'd say, well, sorry, you can't ask that question, it's not on the agenda. And it just got crazy. And I don't think that as far as our committee is concerned, we want to be as welcoming and encourage public participation. And if they walk in the door and want to ask us a question and we basically throw them out on the street, it isn't very hospitable to kind of good community relations. So I think, yes, we have been struggling with it, and I think we feel that this would be very helpful.
Yeah, we attempted to go with the pig route, but the pigs are really, it's really structured how you got to do that. You kind of could only do one issue. You have to report it at the next meeting, and then the pig dissolves. So we found that, we tried going that route, but even that was still too restrictive for us, we found.
Yeah, and another thing that happened last year is, to give you a personal story, I have epilepsy, and so we had a meeting scheduled last year. I think it was one of the first meetings where the planning department came to Kona, and April came to give us a presentation on the draft general plan. And they all came over, and I was set to come, and I had a partial seizure before I left home, and I was zonked out. It makes me sort of mentally incapacitated for a few hours. So I had to text in and say, I'm sorry, I'm just not going to be able to make the meeting. And they didn't have quorum as a result of me not showing up. And, everybody just had to stop. Nothing could be done. The presentation couldn't be given. Staff had to drive home, and the community members that showed up had to go home. And I felt responsible, but it was a horrible thing, and I don't think it was appropriate. And again, if we can get these bills adopted, that wouldn't be an issue.
Have you, I'm guessing we're not the only action committee that you've given this presentation to, or?
We went to Pohana.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago, we went up to the South Kohala meeting.
Okay. I know there's several CDP action committees, so. Yeah, this is the first I've heard of it, but I mean, some of this seems like a no-brainer. I don't know why we can't hear stuff as long as we're not taking any action on it. So, but I guess that's the way the law apparently is. So it's really
So
relax.
You guys said the hearing for this is on Thursday?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't have any way to contact any of you guys. I don't have any of your email and contact information, but if you vote to support this, then I'm sort of tracking the bills and staying on top of it on a day-to-day basis as far as when it gets scheduled for hearings and when we need to get testimony in. So if you want to be in the loop in that and you vote to support moving forward with this, either as individuals or as the committee, or both individuals and the committee, I can, make sure you get timely information.
Would she have to get that through you? They have to go all through you and then come to us?
Yeah, so because Kona had their meeting earlier this month, before the bill was introduced, at their meeting, they voted to write, to to submit for testimony a very simplified letter. Pending the new bill numbers when they came out. Since then, the bill numbers have been released. Right, and Nancy guys went to Susquehanna decided to vote to, support, Nancy in this endeavor and basically voted to, replicate Kona's testimony, you know, with the new bill numbers and whatnot. So planning is working to finalize those letters now, and we're shooting to have that submitted before the deadline tomorrow. So, options that you guys could consider is doing something similar with Susquehanna, and we just asked to mirror what Kona already put together. Or you guys, I mean, now the bill numbers are out, you could try to do something a little bit more unique, I guess, but this will be one of the first joint hearings, is my understanding, and then as Nancy's saying, she's gonna be tracking it, so there's gonna be other opportunities to submit it. So depending on how you guys decide to vote on this, it can be like a standing something that I'm thinking you could probably even say, well, if Kona submit something, we wanna submit something. Their next meeting is, another couple of weeks, I think, and so maybe they'll have a new draft that they, based off of what's already happening. I don't know, there's a lot of ways to tackle it, but.
So do we have to make a motion for a discussion now? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay. So I make a motion that we have discussion around decision-making to provide testimony to the legislature on Bill HB 686 and SB 869.
Second. Yeah, all right.
Oh.
In favor?
Yes, okay.
All right, so it feels like to me that that has been one of the biggest challenges for us, is to try to have these discussions with each other or with the community. And so for me, it's a no-brainer almost to follow along and to mirror what you've already created. I don't see why we should have to reinvent the wheel here. I thank you for your presentation and for doing the footwork around this. I'm wondering how the community feels about this. Is this something you want us to do? And open it up? Anybody?
Would anybody?
Yeah.
Sure, I always thought sunshine laws were very restrictive. Committee, especially supervisory, your regulatory is different, but right now, I think you should have more freedom to be able to interact with the community and each other to bring forward things that are important to the community. Right now, you do. I know this. I've been in the meeting where things get stopped or put off because you can't fulfill the rules currently under. So I'd be very supportive.
The rules around the agenda are very frustrating sometimes. Especially when we're in a time crunch and when we need to do something in a certain date. And then we only have our meetings every 2 months or 3 months, and so I think this is something that we need to do, and
Miriam, so could you say that again? So what happened? Kona drafted the letter for the Senate?
Okay, so we can pull up Kona, so last year, this bill went through the legislature.
Okay.
And so Kona submitted testimony, for that. It's since got new numbers and changed, and so what they did, because it wasn't released yet, they asked to basically just update that letter. To reflect the current session. But I can pull, maybe you want to see what they submitted?
I mean, I agree with Catherine. I don't want to draft another letter that's essentially the same thing that somebody else has already produced. I mean, I think if we're not making any decisions, we need to be able to at least hear anything that's an impediment to us having meetings, which is already enough, which we have. I mean, we're short 2 members, committee members.
right.
So I
The
mean,
so the form is gonna be harder and harder with that.
yeah, so,
Yeah.
we need 5 for,
Yeah,
right?
yes,
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
and we have 6.
So
6, yeah. So. I mean, I understand not making the decision, but.
This is what Kona submitted last year, February 21. This is the cover letter, just stating the date it held and the vote that was taken. Attached is the letter. So, very simple, very brief. During the February meeting of the Kona CDP Action Committee meeting, the members voted to support the passage of, at the time it was called SB 2058, the bill introduced by Senator Manuma. Says the creation of the program, the County of Hawaii's advisory CDP action committees have had to convene our meetings under the strict regulatory sunshine rules that are required of decision-making bodies such as the county council. SB 2058 proposes to make minor technical improvements to chapter 92.81 HRS of the state sunshine law. The addition of a new generic definition for community outreach board to chapter 92-2 would apply to existing or future similar boards or committees in other counties. This language would allow our CDP action committees to operate under the Sunshine Law, chapter 92.81 HRS, the section of the Sunshine Law that applies to neighborhood boards. The Kona CDP Action Committee believes the passage of SB would greatly increase the ability of all Hawaii County CDP Action Committees to better serve our communities and encourage public participation in local government. We could obviously simply update it with the new bill numbers. Or you could add, amend, now that we have this in front of us, then.
Yeah, does it matter if it's 92-81 versus 92-81-883? I don't know what the difference is.
If I can explain that, those are like 92-81 is the first section of part 5. 81 through 83 are the sections that address the neighborhood board section of the CDP. So if you look at the bill, it makes tweaks in 92, 81, 82, and 83. So they're very minor changes to those various sections of part 5 of the Sunshine Law. And the reason that we had to couldn't get it through last time is because we mistitled the bill and it was called Relating to Neighborhood Boards, and it was pointed out to us that that's exactly what we're trying to get away from, and it got deferred in a committee, and they said once you submit the bill you can't change the title, and so it got killed because we mistitled it. So the bill that we submitted last year is basically identical to the bill that has been introduced this year, except we changed the title. And it's as you can see, it's very basic testimony to try to drill into the essence of what we're trying to achieve.
Yeah, and this year, Nancy did a lot of legwork and was able to get someone to introduce the bill both in the Senate and the House. They're the same bill, but when you do the companion bills in both branches or both chambers, it helps the probability of it getting passed.
And a lot of co-sponsors have signed on to both the House bill and the Senate bill. We have to thank the introducers for doing that, because that also adds a lot of strength to this effort.
Yeah, and that was Drew Kanuha in the Senate, and then Jeanne Capella in the House.
So could we just like put our name with their name in?
can we just mirror it?
It's like some.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was.
So,
Yeah,
can we do that tonight, or do we have to wait till the next agenda?
it's on Thursday.
That's not today's agenda.
Yeah.
Well, there's more, that's gonna happen later, but
Yeah, we'll add it to the list and submit it tomorrow.
do we need to do a motion? And
Yeah.
Okay, so I make a motion?
Would you, or the planning department staff rather, be making those changes and I just sign it? Or do we?
Yes, we'll make all the changes and then we'll just send it to you and we'll call you to submit the signature.
Okay.
Okay, so should we motion that?
I make a motion that the Kaʻū CDP committee mirror the letter that was presented by the Kona CDP Action Committee in order to support the drafted bill HB 686 and SB 869 around the sunshine law flexibility for CDP action committees.
A second.
Good. All right,
Okay?
any further discussion on this item? All right, seeing none, all those in favor of the motion as presented?
Aye.
All right, all those opposed? All right, seeing none, we will, or I guess rather planning department staff will, create this document and I will gladly sign it for forwarding to the state Senate and House committee.
Third question. Her motion was that we support them.
With
Do we need, yes, but do we need to make a motion instructing planning department to create that letter and then send it on for signature only from the chair?
We just amend the motion.
I just did the motion, how's that?
Do we need to revote?
I second it.
It's an additional motion.
I second that motion.
Okay.
All right, so all those in favor of the additional motion directing planning staff to do what Anthony Kaʻū just said?
Draft.
Aye.
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 All right, seeing none, we appreciate planning staff's, hard work and
Assistance.
diligence and.
Thank you so much, Nancy and John.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming.
We're doing all the hard work. Not just writing a
All the
detail.
good work, Nancy.
I'd like to add one more thing. If you want to give any of you, your email contacts to staff for me to send you direct updates if you're interested, because I've got a whole bunch of stuff about this. And if you want more information, or also I submitted my own testimony in my own name this morning. And so there's nothing to prevent individuals from submitting their own testimony. So if you want me to provide you with individual information to your email addresses, you can pass that along to staff and I'll be happy to keep you in the loop as this thing moves along. That's up to you.
Can you do that for us?
Okay.
I'd like it.
Go ahead.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm
Thank
all over all
you.
your support and
That's
mahalo
wonderful.
Miriam and Cavello.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. All right, so with that, we will now move forward to agenda item number 5, Department of Water Supply inquiry, discussion and decision making on designating a committee member to work with a representative from the Department of Water Supply and Community Water Concerns. Is there anyone who would like to provide testimony on this agenda item?
Is there anything I can explain
Yeah,
it?
was there any specific concerns that what is brought up?
Well, I will make a motion since I guess I kind of brought this, so I will make a motion to discuss this item. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we got a bunch of them, so, so we have emergency water filling stations, I think they're called. I know one in Waukegan Park. And.
One here in LA. one in,
One in not there, one in.
Oh, so
yeah,
over here,
there's also Ocean View.
There's one on Punahiki, and there's one at the rubbish dump.
so over here is emergency.
There's one out there right up at the top of South Point Road, Kaʻū soon. They've got some, it's right before.
On the highway?
Yeah,
Huh.
so what is going on about?
So, one, it's a multi-tier thing. So one, there's concern that the water in Ocean View, I guess, isn't potable, but people are drinking it, so I don't know if that's true.
It's partially brackish is what I've heard.
Yeah, they'll come to.
So it's not against their health, but there is a small amount of saline in the water.
Okay.
Yeah,
So I guess essentially people like a lot of stuff, people bring it to me and that's how it ends up. So, so one, there was concern that I guess people don't know if it's safe to drink that water. So I don't, essentially the idea is if somebody, and if it's me, that's fine. The Department of Water Supply kind of seemed, it reminds me of when I lived in Los Angeles and we had the Department of Water and Power. And they were like their own animal and nobody could ever really talk to them or get any good information out of them.
And they're not very good at that, right up there.
And so when I had asked our council person about them, she mentioned that maybe we could have a representative to try to communicate with them directly. And so part of the concern, I guess, is that, you know, this is Kaʻū, a lot of people have their own water tanks in the back of their trucks or whatever. And I don't think that's a big issue. But I guess some people in the community are saying, well, it looks like people have like their own, like, private water delivery trucks, but they're not water trucks kind of thing, because they have so many tanks. So I know I see a couple of them. So it's like a trailer, with like 4 huge tanks on it. But I see them like 3 times a day, so that can't be, I mean, listen, you have like 100 people living in your house. I mean, that's obviously not for emergency water usage. And thankfully it started raining again, but we're still probably technically in a drought. And so I guess, you know, the concern that some people might have is that people are taking advantage of this emergency water system for potentially commercial purposes. And so I think it's critical that we have this emergency, and I didn't realize that there were so many of them. But I think also that, you know, I ran the numbers, and I mean, if somebody's taking 1 million gallons a year, that's obviously not emergency water. So
what you're saying is they're collecting the water and then selling it.
we're doing something.
I know that so I live in Ocean View, and right now, because of the amount of time that has gone by since it rained, that people get on the list for water delivery. So what they charge for is water delivery. So it's the truck service that takes the water to their tanks. Right now, I think it's over a month out. So the sign up now has become an emergency level where people can't get water within the next week. And when your tank gets low, that's scary. It can get very scary. I'm lucky enough that the last rain filled it up. And that's what happens is it rains and then everybody calls and cancels. But there are people that are making a living delivering water. If they're a commercial truck, they're supposed to have a permit that they pay for in order to pay for the water that they get. And that in turn goes to the people that the delivery happens for. But the water itself is supposed to be free to all members of the community, unless you're delivering it commercially. That's my take on the water.
Good,
Yeah.
good question. So where is Michelle Galimba in all this? Cause that sounds like it's a county council issue.
Well, I think she wanted us to try to bring it up to see if we could get any input from the community, and if we could try to work with the Department of Water Supply. Cause she wasn't even aware of this. I told her that people had approached me, and so here we are, so I don't know where she's at, I don't know if she's been working with them, I just mentioned it.
Yeah, cause the water shouldn't be a CDP issue. That should be directly to her. She should be addressing that.
Directly,
It's like she's giving us, making us do her work. Right? She's our county council member. She's supposed to be addressing that. But she's something as serious as that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I didn't really think about it until people started pointing it out, and then I started seeing the same vehicles over and over and over the same day. And I'm like, well, either you own a hotel, or you have a huge family, and I'm talking like 100 people, because there's no way you're taking this much water for personal household use.
So I do know that, within the Ocean View community, there's a lot of the Marshallese families where one truck will service every single one of the encampment.
I don't think the vehicles I've seen are driving all the way over.
Okay. So I don't know where those guys are going.
I don't know where. Yeah,
You guys talking about money for the park or the transfer station
yeah, really.
that you're talking?
I see them going somewhere, I don't know where they're going. I've seen them at the transit
They're filling up there is what I'm
Yeah.
trying to specify.
It's always in like the middle of the night.
But getting back to Purnell's issue, is this a CDP issue?
I don't know.
Is this something the action committee is really supposed to be doing?
Is this natural resources though?
It's,
I don't know.
I mean, I
It's
think.
not a natural resource,
no, this
It's
is
not
not harming of water.
because you're not getting it from a spring, you're getting it from a spigot that's mainly maintained by the
By the
county.
county,
Okay,
yep. And this is a county contract.
okay.
Yeah, I think this needs to be directed towards Michelle Galimba.
It's not county water.
No, but it's still maintained by the county.
Okay,
But this is coming from a spigot.
it is
Which
coming from a
is-
spigot.
Because
Yeah.
the Ocean View one is gated and it's opened and shut by the Department of Water Supply.
Okay. That's good information, thank you.
Yeah, it's either,
I,
it's Wauhinu, it's one of the Wauhinus or both of the Wauhinus. So. They're definitely not driving them up there.
should we make a memorandum or something to our councilwoman that it falls in, that we feel it falls in her ballpark, not us, I mean.
So we asked her to investigate it,
Okay.
or
I mean,
throw the ball back to her.
Yeah,
Did she throw it to us?
I mean, I just happened to, I was here for the bye-bye grant and stuff. And so I just happened to talk to her. But. The bye-bye
well,
grant,
then if she's saying that the CDP should try and work with it, then I think the this is just my opinion. But I think the CDP should, nicely give it back to her. You know, this is.
we'll give it to her, not give it
Yeah,
back.
give it to
The
her.
other thing is-
Gave it to us, so I don't think it's part of our responsibility. We just think it should be, given back to the county council.
Can I just say, this is a bit of a slippery slope, because Hawaii is unique in that it has the free water available to the community. I've never been anywhere on the mainland that providing that kind of access to people. And in my opinion, the responsibility of the CDP would be to protect the people's right to water. I hear what you're saying, and I agree with you, don't want somebody to take advantage of it, but you start to get in there, and then all of a sudden, it's gone. So just be careful.
Well, the water, it's,
Does the county going to charge for every drop of water? And I get that too. I'm not nothing wrong with that, but, you know,
We don't want that.
Well, we don't.
But we can't do anything to stop
At that
it.
point, don't you think you should throw it back to the Department of Water Supply to ask?
Well, that's why,
The
yeah,
fact that there are people taking advantage of the water system, but then again, there is a situation of that, it's maybe like in Ocean View, there are families that don't have access to water, but those poor water trolls are feeding communities. People who don't have water, you know what I mean? So it, like she said, it is a slippery slope, but it is something that I think not only should it go back to the council, the councilwoman, but it also should make her point to the Department of Water Supply, because it's not your pleasure,
Yeah,
not
that
your
was
job.
my take from my-
To tell her, she will talk to the Department of Water Supply.
That's what I meant, yeah,
Yeah.
because she was asking us to do it, and I'm just saying, I think it's her job.
You guys don't have problems with that.
To talk.
I like that. All right, so do we wanna do anything, or we wanna have a brief memo, or what? Do we have any discussion? Do we lose? Oh, there's the.
Do you want a motion on that, or? Our suggestion to.
I could draft,
council is to have her directly work with your representative should be her,
Yeah.
not the CDP,
So,
to work with the Department of Water.
are we drafting a memo to that regard, or?
I think so, to go to her, right? I mean, that's our response as a
Yeah, I think
committee.
so. Okay.
Yeah, as a committee, that is our response to, your
All right,
agenda.
is that your motion?
That's my.
All right, so I will
Wait
second
a minute.
Cody's motion to draft the memo to our council person directing, addressing this concern and requesting her to figure it out. I'll work on the language, it'll be a lot more.
Okay.
So you bring it back to the next meeting, is that right? Or are you gonna do it before? Are you gonna just draft it and then send it off, or are you gonna bring it?
Yeah, we can bring it back.
Do you want?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and to bring it back to the next agenda.
Or for review and vote, or just to like, let you guys know, because it was pretty simple, but like, what it sounds like.
Yeah, do you want to vote on the letter, or do you want to just see it?
I don't need to see it. I mean, we know what we want to ask, tell you to do a
I
job.
was gonna say what we just. said.
Yeah, do your job.
Just.
Okay.
So, we need
All
to-
right, so all those in favor of motion to draft a letter to our council person regarding the Department of Water Supply inquiry, please say aye. Those opposed? Being none, the motion passes. All right, moving forward to new business, do any action committee members have any items they would like to agendize for a future meeting?
I do.
Yes.
I'm not sure how this would go about, or if it's even. How it gets to the county, but. I know that the highways are, it's state. So I'm not sure. who-
Portion.
Safely great, but what my, my inquiry is how can we put a crosswalk in front of Nalu Post Office? Because it has gotten really, everybody's crossing it, people are, the place on the side of the road is like. The church has lost its grass.
But,
Yeah.
but do we have to have a sidewalk on that side or something for that?
I mean, but we're just all, everybody just crosses it
No,
now.
I understand that.
Yeah,
Like,
I-
everybody's still parking on that other side. but
Oh, but that's,
What
don't
is the
take that
sidewalk?
away from us.
What is the sidewalk gonna go to?
No, crosswalk.
Yeah.
Crosswalk. What is
Crosswalk.
the crosswalk gonna go to? It's just gonna end at the grass? You gotta-
No, there's so you can either do it at, either by the church, the church area, or, the bank. Cause the corner, the only other, the nearest crosswalk is Honolulu, nobody, I'm myself, don't do that. I get out of my truck and I walk across the street along with everybody else and wait for,
You may have other arguments too, because the library's there, there's other offices there and that could justify a crosswalk besides those others.
yeah. Yeah, and we could probably do it right by the.
I don't get the whole, I need to.
Yeah, I need to go straight across, yeah, you me both, but you know, like for the road that goes to the library, it almost matches with that other entry into the church parking lot. And that might be I know people might want it a little further down, but I mean, we need something there to protect the pedestrians because it's. People are coming off the 2 humps off of Honolulu and then they're slamming in the gas pedal and they're not.
And a
And
little flag.
yeah, maybe we ought to do those too, you know, the ones that they walk across the street.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know their flags. Yeah, so, but anyway, I just wanted to bring that out to see if maybe that's a possibility that we could put forward.
I think it's a great idea and I'd be happy to work on it.
Okay, well, you've got a long time, I'm just a holdover right now.
So do we just add it to the
We need
agenda?
you.
Add it to the agenda.
I don't mind working on it, I don't know where it goes, but. Anyway, since I'm
But
still
we
here,
can reach out to the transportation planner and the department and just start getting a grip of, who's currently operating that road at those areas and see who else needs to get involved in the conversation.
Also Jason, or Miriam, I have there's a couple of items I had questions about. I'm not sure when to bring that. I mean, past items. I'm not sure when to ask my questions.
It says including revisiting topics from meetings past. I guess now would be the
Go ahead and ask.
time.
Or basically just information, wanted to let everybody know that the Na'alehu Hills subdivision letter that we wrote was sent to Jeff Darrow on December 30th, 2024. And I think that the planning staff has sent a copy of that to everybody on the action committee. And also, the Punalu'u letter's not been finalized and I'd like to get maybe an update on where that's at.
Thank you for bringing that up. So Jason had sent it to us. I sent you an email, Jason. I wasn't able to open it, so if we can work on resending that over.
Oh,
Draft again.
once I signed it, it like disappeared. It said that it was.
We didn't even get to sign it. You sent me a drafted doc, a Google Doc.
Oh, oh, that one. Okay,
Yeah,
that one I sent you, the other one when I
You sent
signed
to me, I
it, it just
couldn't
disappeared.
click it, I couldn't open it.
All right, after the meeting, tell me what I gotta do and we'll figure it
Yeah.
out.
Thanks. So then the one thing that I did talk to Miriam about was just when these things get finalized and we know they've been sent, as we discussed, to send the copies of the final documents out to the committee members so we could close the circle. We know that what we've done and worked on for months and months and months and months has actually gone somewhere.
Yeah, and planning agrees that that's perfect for all of us. We all want that. So we're gonna work on some file structure changes. We have new staff coming on board next week. Some vacancies, so.
Yay.
Increasing some capacity.
Is the Honolulu decision on the planning department's calendar? The decision on is on the planning department's calendar.
My understanding is they're still going through their mediation process. Yes. Yeah.
do you know if there's been anything moving forward on the subdivision? Where that
I
is?
haven't heard anything. And so that's something that I can reach out to the planner who's assigned to that.
Yes, could you please?
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be great. find
Yeah,
out.
the last time I checked on the application, like folder itself, I saw no movement, so,
Non-movement.
yeah, so it's not just.
Yeah, because soil and water and,
I think they're still waiting for. agency.
NRCS is also, they're asking if there's been any movement on that too. They're also, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going with that one.
Yeah.
Thank you. So,
What's the date of our next meeting?
That's what we're doing.
No, the date, I think the date's already been set, although I don't have that with me.
March 25.
so who's gonna, oh, Babette? Babette?
Oh, we moved to Tuesdays now?
Yeah.
Okay,
Um,
5 PM. Do we know where?
There's been other things going on.
Let me check.
yeah, we have it there. But that's because it has to be.
Yes.
Yeah, it's time to meet Ocean View.
Oh, so Babette, sorry. Jason found 5.3 enhanced employee work. And policies, well, it's kind of all in here. Anyway, kind of in that area.
Yeah, I would think the city.
Department of Trans.
Not really.
Yeah.
I think we're looking at Ocean View on the next one.
Yeah, that would be good. Page 75.
Thank you.
Start there.
I don't know where the sidewalk would go, and I don't know how much we can talk about it.
So she's gonna find
We'll
out.
have it on the next agenda.
Yeah, she's gonna check with the state patterns and see.
Yeah, so I was thinking, I did a quick search, and there's nothing specific about cross election, but I thought maybe from the safety aspect, or, road improvements, that.
I don't know, I just think of my old traffic engineer, like put a sidewalk there and do a crosswalk rather, and do it and think, oh, I'm safe now because there's a crosswalk and people are gonna fly down the hill and run you over in the crosswalk. Yeah.
I mean, it would be something.
Yeah. Not you, they could have one, both not you.
Yeah.
I suppose I was in the crazy place, worse than ours, I think. They put a crosswalk in the street up in there and she just slow things down. That's a crazy place to have.
It's a crazy place for, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely slow people down. Yeah.
Any place that has telephone poles a foot off the road, yeah, that's it.
but, yeah.
Yeah, they did it at Lieutenant too, the school.
All, I think it was a state working at all the schools.
Yeah.
Oh,
They put
public
this-
schools now.
The speed humps and the
Yeah.
crosswalk.
But I think we have our hill.
Are we
But
done?
yeah, just. Maybe next
Jason,
time.
are we done?
Alright, if anyone has any other agenda items, ideas, please email the CDP team at cdp@hawaiicounty.gov. Myself and Dean Campbell from Corporation Council. Do I have any other comments?
Yeah, everybody in the community wants to
Well,
talk CDP.
Any report, friends, now that we are.
So the planning department is currently seeking applicants, for the Kaʻū Community Development Plan Action Committee and is requesting assistance to get the word out to interested community members. I think I have convinced one individual to apply. I don't know where he's at in the process. The application can be found on the mayor's office website at www.hawaiicounty.gov/r-county/boards-commissions-application. So, and to follow up with Enrique Kaʻū, the DHL will be hosting a meeting tomorrow at 5:30. 5:30 here at the Not Living Clubhouse / Community Center. I will certainly intend to
Yes. and I
be
approve that.
present. And we will be giving them a copy of our letter. Do any committee members or staff have any other announcements to make?
No, but I did find this, this looks like it's the meeting.
Oh, yeah.
So this is the press release, so at the Not Living Community Center,
Mhm.
tomorrow, 5:30 to 7. It
Okay,
looks like it's only in person, we'll try and send an email to us now.
that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah, if you send that email out, I can put it on Facebook. I'm on a couple different community forums and we need to get the word out.
Yeah, that's awesome. Can you bring that? in?
Great.
Awesome. Okay.
All right. Seeing nothing further, do we need to vote to adjourn?
You say
All right, I will now adjourn the meeting. The meeting is adjourned at 6:51 PM. Everybody have a nice evening.
Thank you, everybody. See you in March.